The alien girl faced danger for water each day, until a human appeared when she needed help most. HFY. The sun on the planet Charis rose slowly, like it was tired of waking up every day. Its light was pale and harsh at the same time, spreading across endless sand and broken stone. There were no oceans on Charis anymore. No rivers. Only dust, heat, and silence. Water was life here, and life was always close to ending. The alien girl moved carefully across the rocky ground, her small feet wrapped in worn fiber sandals. Her skin was light blue, dry from the heat, and her large dark eyes stayed alert as she walked. She was young, but on Charis, young did not mean weak. It only meant you learned fear early. Her name was Siri. On her back she carried two empty water containers. They were made from old metal scraps, repaired many times by careful hands. When full, they would be heavy. When empty, they were hope. Every morning, Siri left her settlement before the heat became unbearable. The settlement was nothing more than a cluster of low shelters made from stone, cloth, and pieces of ancient ruins. Her people, the Lurin, were not strong. They were not fast. They did not have weapons or ships or armor. Long ago, others had taken those things from them. What they still had was each other. Siri did not look back as she walked away. If she did, she might see her mother watching, trying not to show fear. She might see the children still asleep, dreaming of cool air and clear water. Thinking about them would slow her steps, and slowing down was dangerous. The path to the water source took nearly 2 hours on foot. It crossed open ground where there was nowhere to hide, then wound through broken stone pillars left by an ancient civilization no one remembered. The water came from an old extractor buried deep underground, a machine so old that no one knew who built it. It still worked somehow, pulling moisture from deep rock and slowly filling a cracked basin. Many knew about the extractor. That was the problem. Siri stayed low as she moved, stopping often to listen. The wind made strange sounds as it passed through stone, and sometimes it sounded like footsteps. She had learned the difference, but fear still tightened her chest every time. Predators hunted near the ruins, tall, thin creatures with too many joints and silent movements. They did not attack often, but when they did, no one survived. Worse than predators were the raiders, other alien species, stronger and crueler, who traveled in groups and took what they wanted: water, food, lives. The Lurin had learned to stay unnoticed. They took water early, left no signs, and prayed each night. As Siri reached the edge of the ruins, she crouched behind a fallen pillar and waited. This was the most dangerous part. The extractor was just beyond the stone field in a shallow crater. Anyone nearby could see her approach. She waited until her breathing slowed. Then she moved. The basin came into view and her heart lifted slightly. The water shimmered faintly, clear and precious. No one else was there. No tracks, no signs of recent activity. For now, she was safe. She hurried forward, kneeling beside the basin and lowering one container into the water. The metal cooled her hands. She filled the first container, sealed it tightly, then began filling the second. As she worked, she listened, always listening. That was when she noticed something strange. The ground near the extractor looked different. At first, she thought the light was playing tricks on her eyes. Then she leaned closer. The sand had been disturbed, but not in the way raiders usually left it. No deep claw marks, no heavy boots. The ground was pressed flat in places, almost smooth. Siri frowned. Someone had been here recently. Her heart began to race. She capped the second container quickly and stood, straining to hear anything beyond the wind. The ruins were silent. She lifted the containers onto her back, muscles aching immediately under the weight. She turned to leave. It was tall, taller than any Lurin. Its shape was strange, upright and solid, with only 2 arms and 2 legs. It wore a suit of dull-colored fabric and metal marked with scratches and dust. A rounded helmet rested under one arm, revealing a face unlike any she had seen before. Pinkish skin, flat features, eyes forward-facing, focused and sharp. A human. Siri's breath caught in her throat. Humans were stories, old warnings whispered by elders. Some said humans burned worlds. Others said they disappeared long ago. A few claimed humans helped the weak, but no one believed those stories. The human did not move toward her. He stood still, hands open and empty, showing no weapon. His eyes flicked briefly to the water containers on her back, then back to her face. Slowly he raised one hand, palm outward. Ciri's instincts screamed at her to run, but her legs would not move. If she ran, he might chase her. If she dropped the water, her people would suffer. The human spoke. His voice was low and rough but calm. The words were strange, but the tone was not threatening. He spoke again, slower this time, pointing gently to himself. "I won't hurt you." Ciri shifted her weight, ready to flee if he moved suddenly. "You are human," she said. It was not a question. "Yes," he replied. "Name S. Aaron." "They will fight you. My people are waiting." His hands were rough, scarred. He looked tired but not broken. When she reached a safe distance, she turned back. "Why are you here?" she asked. Aaron looked at the extractor, then at the wide, empty land beyond it. "Because someone needs to be," he said. That answer stayed with her as she walked away, the weight of the water heavy on her back but lighter in her heart than it had been in many cycles. Behind her, the human remained standing near the ancient machine, watching the horizon like he intended to stay. And for the first time in her life, Ciri wondered if tomorrow's journey for water might be different. Ciri did not sleep well that night. The shelter was quiet, but her mind was loud. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the human standing near the extractor, calm and unmoving, as if danger did not touch him the same way it touched everyone else. She had brought back the water safely, and her people had been grateful, but fear still hung in the air like dust. Humans were never just visitors, that was what the elders said. When morning came, Ciri rose before the others. The sky was still dark, and the heat had not yet begun its slow attack on the land. She sat outside the shelter and watched the horizon. Nothing moved. No ships. No shadows. Her mother joined her quietly. "You're thinking about him," she said. Ciri did not deny it. "He stayed near the extractor," she replied. "He said others already tried to take it." They were old, thin, and tired, but their eyes were sharp. Ciri told them everything she had seen and heard. The human's name, his behavior, his strange calm. Some wanted to move the settlement. Others said that was impossible. There was nowhere else to go. "He did not take water for himself," Ciri said. "He let me go first." That alone broke many of the old stories. In the end, they decided to wait and watch. That was all they could do. By midday, Ciri returned to the ruins, this time not alone. Two others followed at a distance, hidden among the rocks, ready to warn the settlement if something went wrong. Ciri's steps were careful, but her fear was different now. It was mixed with curiosity. The extractor came into view. Aaron was still there. He had removed parts of the ancient machine and laid them out carefully on a cloth. Small tools moved in his hands as he worked, adjusting, cleaning, repairing. He looked up when he heard footsteps and straightened slowly. "You came back," he said. Ciri nodded. "The water is needed every day." He stepped away from the machine again, giving her space. "I made it run a little cleaner, less waste." The Lurin had depended on this machine for generations and never truly understood it. As Ciri filled the containers, Aaron spoke again. "You weren't followed." A sharp sound cut through the air. A signal call. Ciri froze. From the far end of the ruins, shapes appeared. 4 figures at first, then more behind them. Tall, armored, carrying weapons that reflected the sun. Raiders. Ciri's breath caught. "They came early," she whispered. Aaron did not panic. He moved calmly, stepping between Ciri and the basin. "Stay behind me," he said. She wanted to argue, to tell him he was only one, but her body obeyed before her fear could speak. The raiders spread out, confident and loud. Their leader stepped forward, his voice harsh and mocking as his translator activated. "This water is ours now," the raider said. "Leave human, leave small one, or be removed." Aaron raised his voice, clear and steady. "This extractor is unstable," he said. "If you take it by force, you'll damage it. No one gets water. There will be more water, enough for everyone nearby." Everything happened fast. Aaron threw a small device onto the ground. A loud sound burst through the air, sharp and disorienting. The raiders stumbled, clutching their heads, shouting in confusion. Dust rose as they lost formation. "Run!" Aaron shouted. Siri did not need to be told twice. She grabbed the containers and ran as fast as she could, heart pounding, lungs burning. She did not look back until she reached the rocks where the others waited. They stared in disbelief as the raiders retreated, angry but disorganized, shouting threats they could not enforce. Aaron did not chase them. He stood his ground until they were gone. When Siri returned carefully, he was kneeling again beside the extractor, already fixing a damaged pipe. "You could have been killed," she said. "So could you," he replied. "That's why I'm here." "Now," he continued, "some of us try to give back, or at least stop the damage." She carried parts, learned simple repairs, and watched how he set up small sensors hidden among the ruins. He taught her how to read the land, how to notice patterns, how to think ahead. "This is not about fighting," he told her. "It's about making fighting pointless." Fewer people went hungry, fewer children cried from thirst, but the tension grew. One evening, as the sky turned red, Aaron stood with Siri overlooking the basin. "They're planning something bigger," he said. "I can feel it." Especially then. The wind still moved through the ruins, but now it carried distant sounds that did not belong to the land. Engines, signals, movement beyond the horizon. Aaron noticed too, but he did not show fear. He simply worked longer hours. He expanded the sensors, placing them far from the extractor. Small, almost invisible devices that listened, watched, and warned. He dug shallow trenches to guide movement and placed harmless traps meant only to slow and confuse. He adjusted the extractor again, improving the flow and adding emergency shutoffs. Siri stayed with him whenever she could. She learned how to hold tools, how to clean old metal without damaging it, how to listen to machines the way she listened to the land. "You learn fast," Aaron said one evening. "I have to," she replied. "We all do." Siri felt it through her feet before she heard the quiet signal from the nearest sensor. Aaron looked up immediately. "They're coming," he said. "How many?" Siri asked. He checked a small display. His expression tightened. "More than before." "No movement." Panic rose, but Siri raised her voice. "He planned for this," she said. "The human planned for this." Their leader was larger than the others, armored in dark plates marked with symbols of conquest. He stepped forward and laughed when he saw only one human standing there. "You stayed," the raider said. "That was foolish. Leave or be crushed." Paths they thought were clear became uneven, forcing them to slow. Some raiders fired blindly. Their shots hit nothing. "This is a trick," the leader shouted. "Yes," Aaron said calmly. "A simple one." The raiders pushed forward anyway, frustrated and angry. That was when the ground beneath the extractor collapsed slightly, exactly as Aaron had planned. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to make it look unstable. The raiders froze. Aaron raised his voice. "Take one more step and the whole system shuts down for good. No water, for anyone." "You would doom yourself too," the raider said. Aaron's voice stayed steady. "I already calculated survival without this source. Have you?" Aaron reacted instantly. He threw another device, this one creating a bright burst of light and sound. The charging raider fell, stunned but alive. Others stumbled back. "Enough," Aaron shouted. "Leave, or stay and watch your power fail." Cheers did not rise from the settlement, only relief. Siri ran back to the ruins as soon as it was safe. She found Aaron sitting on a stone, breathing hard for the first time since she had met him. "You did it," she said. "We did," he corrected, but the victory felt fragile. "They will come again," Siri said. "Yes," Aaron agreed. "And not just them." He opened communication channels, not threats but messages. He invited nearby groups to talk, to negotiate, to share. Many did not trust him, some ignored him, a few listened. He set clear conditions: no weapons near the basin, no force. Anyone who followed the rules received water access at set times. Siri watched as different species arrived cautiously, confused by the idea of fairness. Some tried to cheat and were quietly locked out by the system. No violence, just consequences. Slowly, trust grew. The Lurin were no longer invisible. Siri became a voice for her people, standing beside Aaron during talks. She spoke simply, honestly about daily fear, about children risking their lives for water. Many listened. Not all. One night, alarms sounded again, different from before. This time the threat came from above. A large ship entered orbit, its presence heavy and undeniable. It did not belong to raiders. Its markings were older, more powerful. Aaron stared at the sky. "That's a faction ship," he said quietly. "What does that mean?" Siri asked. "It means the galaxy noticed." Control of the water source was being claimed. Siri's chest tightened. "Can you stop them?" "That it already belongs to someone." She felt purpose, and far above Kara's, powerful minds began to realize that this small, dry world was not weak, because a human had stayed, and an alien girl had stood up. The ship stayed in orbit for 3 long days. During that time, no one attacked. No one moved against the extractor. The ruins were quiet again, but this silence was different from before. It was heavy, full of watching eyes and careful thinking. Siri spent those days walking between the settlement and the basin. She spoke with elders, with visitors from other species, and with her own people. Many were afraid. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to leave while they still could. Aaron listened more than he spoke. On the 4th morning, a message came from the ship. A meeting was requested. It would take place at the basin. Siri felt her hands shake as she stood beside Aaron, waiting. She was no longer just a water carrier. The elders had asked her to speak for the Lurin. That thought made her chest tight, but she did not step back. A shuttle descended slowly, landing at the edge of the ruins. Its door opened, and 3 figures stepped out. They wore clean armor and carried no visible weapons. Their movements were controlled, confident, officials. One of them spoke first, their voice smooth and practiced. "This world has been listed as unclaimed," they said. "The water source is valuable. Control must be established. We live here. We agree. That is why we already have rules." The officials spoke quietly among themselves. Their expressions changed, not soft but thoughtful. "This arrangement cannot continue without oversight," one finally said. "But destruction would be inefficient. Of watching children risk their lives for water." Some brought knowledge. Others came only to see the place where raiders did not rule. The basin became more than a water source. It became a meeting ground. Siri worked beside Aaron every day. She learned to manage schedules, to resolve disputes, to speak calmly when voices rose. She was still young, but her people listened to her now. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Aaron watched children playing near the water, laughing, splashing carefully as if still unsure the miracle would last. "You did this," Siri said. Aaron shook his head. "I helped. You stayed. Humans don't stay in one place forever. Because once, a long time ago, no one stayed for us." New extractors were built using shared knowledge. The Lurin no longer sent children alone for water. Siri led councils, taught others what she had learned, and listened when new voices joined the circle. Years passed. Karis changed. It was still dry, still harsh, but no longer hopeless. Travelers spoke of the world where humans had not conquered but protected, where strength meant patience, where a small alien girl had stood in front of powerful voices and said no. Some asked where the human was now. Siri always gave the same answer. He went where he was needed. Not because they always fought, but because sometimes they stayed, and when they did, worlds survived.